Yeah, it's that time of year again. I got to be checking cows here. You know, they're my brother's cows, but I come down at noon and check them. That one right there is cow Zero that I did a video for having a calf last year. There's a couple calves from last year, real late ones, you know, that were born in winter, really, all out of season. But that can happen. That's why he's really not due for another couple weeks, but you know, things could happen. So I'll start checking them now, but they'll really kick in a couple weeks. But they look pretty good. There's one I want to keep an eye on that's over in the shed there. Anytime, you know, if one goes off by himself, you gotta kind of, or by herself, you gotta keep an eye on them. They're usually thinking, you know, when they'll do that, they'll go off. Like here now, they've got good solid ground, but if one's going to have a calf, they got a tendency to wander off in the field someplace and have it. Well, that's not the best, though. You know, it's above freezing today. But here they can go up on corn stalks. Is what he uses for bedding, and the sheds are bedded down with corn stalks too, which makes a real good bedding. But if they're going to have one, they won't do it out here. You know, they'll go off or go in the shed, one or the other. But I think we're okay for today. But he checks them in the morning and in the evening when he feeds, and I'll come over at noon and check them every day. You know, it's just, you can't check them too often. Well, the thing about it is too, though, if one is close, you know, you kind of got to leave them be, stand back a little, and because they don't like to be pushed too much. You know, they want to do it in their own time. So you got to watch them, but you can't watch them too close. But it looks good. I have to check on that one in the shed. But she just looked a little suspicious. We just heard a whole pile of guineas in there. But this will be the start. You know, any time now. But like I say, really not due for a couple of weeks. And it looks like the weather's going to be good, so that's a plus. And at least they're, you know, they're down here. You know, before last year, and again this year, across the road there, up in that high ground, in that old cornfield, as soon as that thaws off enough to get them up there, well, then you got to cover a little more ground. Here, if they're just in the yard, it's easy to take care of them, but it isn't the best, you know. For calving, it's nice to have them on a good dry pasture. But here, as long as they can get in the shed, they're okay. And it's easier to keep an eye on them. But they're pretty content. Been a long winter for them. Okay, that's 172 there. She's the one that's in the shed. That was in the shed. And now you see the way she's looking at that dog. A lot of times, you know, it's best if the dogs don't come out with you when you check them. But a lot of times, cows can be confused. Like they'll get up and they'll look behind them like, did I have a calf? And then if they see a dog, they think, oh, is that my calf? You know, they're not the brightest animal around. They work pretty much basically on instinct, and a lot of times, you know, the modern cattle, the instinct has kind of been bred out of them. Except for your Angus. They get more instincts than you know what to do with.